Aloha artists, Miss Maggie here. This week I am curious about your family traditions, especially what sorts of food your family cooks and bakes over the holidays. Think about Thanksgiving or whatever holiday is special to your family, whatever that holiday is, and what sort of food your family cooks. It might be the main course, it might be a special snack that you make, it might be a dessert. What are the ingredients in that item? That is what we are going to create today. We are going to not actually cook the delicious food, but we're going to draw the ingredients that go into it. So, what's special to my family? Well, my mom makes the most incredible lemon meringue pie. She uses lemons from our yard, and it's so special to our family that when we've gone over to our friend's house for Thanksgiving, they're like, well, don't worry about bringing a pumpkin pie. Someone else will do that. You bring the lemon meringue pie. So we'd have lemon meringue pie even on Thanksgiving. So I'm going to draw some ingredients from that. Not all the ingredients, but I have some lemons. And the topping, you have to use a lot of egg whites. So, well, I took an egg out of the fridge and I might draw that. I'm not sure. And a lot of flour goes into the crust. And I thought I'd use some flour, but that container was so huge that I found the cornstarch, which looks like flour, but it's different. This goes into the filling with the lemon to thicken it up. So those are the things that I found. I might not draw all of them, or I might, I'm not sure. But those are some of the ingredients that go into my family's special dish. Talk to your family, see what ideas you have for your special dish and what ingredients you have on hand. We're going to be drawing a still life. So that means that you are going to need the actual ingredients on hand so that we can look closely at their details and colors. Doesn't have to be all the ingredients, but see what you have in your kitchen that go into those recipes, okay? Well, that's one of the ingredients for this artwork, but let's see what the rest of our supplies are. We are going to, of course, need a pencil, and we're going to be working on small drawing paper today, and you'll need an eraser, and we're going to do colored pencils. And so we will use colored pencils, and one more thing that might be nice is depending on your ingredients. If you have a cloth napkin or a dish towel or some other cloth that is a nice color to go with them, then you could get that too. So what are our supplies today? Small drawing paper, pencil, eraser, colored pencils, and then your ingredients for your family's special dish, and maybe a cloth napkin or some other colored cloth. Okay, go get those supplies and meet me right back here. So, if we are going to create a still life, then the first thing we need to do is to compose what it is we're going to draw. I have these different objects and I'm going to decide, which are going to be in my artwork and how am I going to arrange them so that they will look interesting for how I will draw them onto my paper. I think I'm going to leave the cornstarch out. Make sure that you have permission from your family for whatever ingredients you are using. Like for instance, if you would like to have a fruit cut in half, ask a family member to do that for you. And you're not cutting up something that someone was expecting to use for dinner, right? Okay, try out with your objects what's going to look best. So let's see, I think I like it. I like all the little bumps on that part. And I love that one with the seed that's cut through. And I want it to be touching. I'm going to turn the egg that way though. And as soon as I'm done drawing, I'm going to put that egg right back in the fridge because that's how we be safe around our food items. You can do your paper horizontal, the long way this way, or vertical, tall way this way. Either is fine. I'm going to do mine tall because that's the way I arranged my objects. And so now I'm going to look at this space and think, what are the main shapes that I see? I'm going to trace my objects with my finger or my pencil before I begin drawing. You trace the details that make up your still life so that you have an idea about the details you're going to draw. I want to see what I notice. Of course, I have a big circle here. I've got this part here with some wrinkles around it. I have this circle here. Ooh, look at that little spot like a bug was trying to eat through the rind. Both of these are from my yard. I've got a seed there and those neat details. And I've got on the lemon all of these shapes here and the little texture inside. And the rind has neat texture and then it is white. And I have the egg, special egg shaped, and then the egg's just white. But it does have some lighter and darker areas and little drops of water. That'll be interesting to draw. And I have my shadows. Next, I'm going to think, well, what size should these be on my paper? I want to use up as much of my paper as possible. And with these objects, I think I can make them the same size. Interesting. Because this lemon is a circle like this, so that will be up here. And then I've got the smaller lemon, and then I have the egg. So plan out how large are your objects going to be. Check that on your paper. Once you've thought about how large your objects are and where they're going to go, now I'm ready to start sketching. And so if I'm sketching, I'm not worrying about my lines being perfect the first time. I am going super, super lightly. And with that, if my lines aren't quite what I want them to be, I can just make new lines. I think I have the circle, that's the lemon there. And I see that here in the center is this part. And I've got that line there. There's a couple little bumps there. I think I have that. That's pretty simple. But then this one is leaning against it, and I can see that it's over on this side underneath this part, and it's definitely smaller. Okay. Look where the objects in your still life are overlapping, touching, or maybe just close to touching. I have an oval here, and I was playing with where does it actually go. That's why I have lots of sketch marks there, because I was looking closely and noticing more. See how I haven't started erasing yet? It's not perfect from the first mark, but I keep looking at it and noticing more and tuning my lines. And then I notice that there is the outside part of the lemon, and that connects over here, goes away, touches the big lemon, and then comes back. And so goes out, touches the big lemon, and comes back. And now, so I don't get confused, I'll erase some of the other marks. A lot of times I wait as long as possible before I start erasing. I get the lines I want to keep before I get rid of the lines I don't want to keep. But sometimes lines get confusing, and so I erase them. But remember, this is a drawing project, not an erasing project. So don't erase all the time. Let yourself draw, and the right lines will come. Just breathe and look closely, and you'll get there. Okay, now what about all these shapes in here? I see they all come from the center. And I see that there is shapes coming out, and then there's a point. How many shapes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this lemon is divided into eighths. So I am looking closely at what I see. You're going to be noticing different things because your family has different ingredients that go into their special dish, right? But if you have anything that's like a opened up fruit or a tomato, then you might notice some of these sorts of details. And I'm going to look at this again and really decide what are the lines I want to keep and what lines do I not need. So look closely at the details in your ingredient, whatever that is that makes them. What else do I need to add? I see that there's those seeds. I like that. And there'll be the texture that goes in there. Ooh, there's that little bit right there. Neat. I think most of the rest I'll use color to show the details. That will be great. I think I'll just tune my lines a little bit more because I don't want them to be so thick here. Okay, there we go. Finally, the egg. And that egg, I see that the thicker side is on this side, the skinnier side is this way, and it is close to, but not touching the cut up lemon. And so, skinnier side, thicker side, I'm making some little marks so I know how large it is on my paper and where to put it. Those are two of the important things to know. How large is it and where is it going? And then, if I know those, then I'm looking at, well, what lines is it made up of? And so, I see that it curves and curves, and oh my goodness, did I get that egg right on the first try? If you happen to be drawing an egg, I 100% understand if it doesn't turn out perfect egg shape the first try. Usually it doesn't for me, but I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Okay, I've got my pencil down. I'm going to do one more part. I'm going to look and see where are the shadows. I see those shapes. I see the shape here going around, and it starts under there, comes around, and touches about there. I see a shape. This one comes down and around like that. And this one like that. I have my shapes of all of my objects. I have my shadows. I know where my lines are. I've got a couple little details drops. Look one more time. Is there any other details that should be drawn on? Any parts that you want to shift, stop, step back, take a look at it? I am pretty happy with it. I might even give it to my mom as a gift since she's always baking those lemon meringue pies for us. Okay, next, on to color. That's going to be exciting. Before we just jump in and start coloring, I want to teach you something special about using colored pencils. Let's practice on the back. Pick a color to try this with. Actually, you're going to need two colors. Doesn't matter what colors they are, any two colors. And so, the things that we need to know about colored pencils is, first of all, we are going to want to do some outlining. That means that whatever objects you have, you're going to pick a color you're going to use and go over those pencil lines with it. And so, follow along with me. We need to outline. The next thing we need to know is what direction we are doing our coloring in. Practice with me with one of your colors next to the word direction, going so that it is smooth and in one direction, because then it's not looking all over the place. You're not having a weird texture. You have control. And then if you have your direction practiced, then you can also use your colored pencils, hard or soft. And so with that, you can go hard like that. And now see, can you go lighter, 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 so it's barely touching there. Wonderful. And so any one color pencil has all of those options. I think I might even have some more in between options here. Maybe I'll go on there one more time. There we go. Hard to soft. And finally, let's blend. And so if you blend, let's try this again. Let's practice that hard to soft one more time. And then let's try another color, hard to soft, in the opposite direction. Because when we do that, we are seeing how you can blend colors. And you can blend a lot of red and a little bit of blue. You can blend a lot of blue and a little bit of red. You can blend a lot of both of them and have it really bold, but kind of dark. It all depends on what you want to do. Techniques we're going to want to remember are outline, direction, hard or soft, and blend. Let's go back to our main artwork. So now, on to coloring. Before we jump in, let's look and see what colors we really notice in our still life. Your colors are going to be what you notice, but I'll show you how I really look at mine. Well, so look at all of your colored pencils and match them to the colors that you see in your still life. This is what I see. Of course, I've got some lemons, so anything that's yellowish is going to be useful. I've got some nice golden ochres there and a yellow-green that it's in some parts of my lemon. And then what about the shadow areas? There's those dark parts underneath the lemon. A purple and a gray would both be great for that. Purple plus yellow actually mixes to a brown because purple has red and blue in it. Red, blue, yellow. 3 primary colors equal to brown. And that gray will be useful for the egg. But I think I might put some other little bits of color in there. I think that blue, when it's very light, will be useful there and in the shadows. And then my cloth underneath, it's not even quite either of those reds and pinks, but I think together, plus a little bit of purple, and then maybe another blue for the shadows, and that is going to work great. So there, I went through all my colored pencils and pulled out the colors that I see. So I'm going to think out, where am I going to start? I'm going to start with the big lemon, and I am going to start with the yellow. And because it is a round fruit, I am going to have my color pencil be round. See how I'm going like that? That's my direction. And I'm looking at it. Where is the yellow really bold? And where is it lighter? I'm seeing areas that I want the color pencil lighter and areas where I want it to really be a lot of yellow. And I'm going down and up. Oh my goodness. Did I just skip my first step? Oh, Miss Maggie, stop and think. I know I was saying that for our painting projects, but it helps here too. I'm going to outline the lemon. And you know what that's going to do? It's going to make it clearer for us staying inside. Okay, I outlined the lemon, and I'm just working on the lemon. I'll remember to outline the other parts later. So I outlined the lemon, just that little step lets me really know where the edges are and easier to stay inside of them. See how over here my curve goes the other way because I'm following that curve and then I'm following this curve. And if that's a little harder to do, just turn your paper upside down. Now it's the same motion and I'm seeing, where do I want that color? There's probably somewhere in your paper that you are doing something similar. Look for the direction that your objects want to be colored and outline them. And remember to go both hard and soft. I see that this area right here definitely needs more colored pencil. I'm going to make it hard. And there's some highlights right up there, so I'm going to keep that part soft. I'm going to make sure that I can't see my strokes. And I'm going to put in some of my other colors. I'm going to start blending. Where do I see it have these other colors? Make sure that you are layering colors, because that yellow isn't the same as that yellow, same as that yellow, same as that, same as that, same as that. Those, you could call them all yellows, but they're not the same. Show the differences in your object with color. So I'm speeding up this video because you're not drawing the same ingredients as I am. Probably you're drawing your own, but you are still going to look closely for what colors are in it and where they go. Pay attention to your stroke, your direction of your pencil, and how hard and soft, and blend all those colors. I keep looking again and layering more, and then I start to look for where the shadows are. Where should I put in those purples or grays or other dark colors? And that really starts to make it look round. I'm really trying to get all those colors that I see. I'm not sure if I'm done yet, but I'm going to do the other parts and then I'll come back to it. Let's go on to this lemon. Okay, I'm going to start with that outlining, right? That is our steps. Outline, direction, hard or soft, and blend. Just like Miss Maggie, if you forget a step, just remember, oh, those are all tools we can use, and you can always go back and use more of them, okay? So, I'm going to outline, and this time I'm using that golden ochre yellow because I see that that yellow is different. This lemon is from a different tree, and so it has a different color to it. And so I definitely want that color there. And then I think for the inside, I'm going to go back to the other yellow. Don't worry if your artwork doesn't look like mine. My art didn't look like this when I was in elementary school. So if you're getting frustrated, take a deep breath and know that you are an artist. What I am showing you that you can do is to keep stopping and looking. Look for where the colors are. Find more colors that you can blend in and look for where it is dark and light. Keep finding those spots. Keep putting them in your artwork, and your art skills will keep growing and growing. You can do this. Okay, on to the egg. Well, let's start for the egg with gray. Every new area that you do, start with an outline with a color that makes sense for that area, and then pay attention to the direction that you use your colored pencils so that it looks flat or round or whatever it should be, and then blend in whatever other colors you see. So look at your still life and notice, is an area dark or light? And then look at that spot in your picture. Is that area dark or light? Let's actually try that out. Take one finger and point it at your still life. Find a spot that you're working on right now. Now take your other finger and point at the same spot on your drawing. Now, is the still life dark or light right there? Is your drawing dark or light right there? What colors do you see in the still life? Look closely. Are there any colors you can add in your drawing right there? Try it somewhere else. I'm going to look right there at that seed and right there, and I see that there's some darker areas on the edge of the seed. And I can see that there's little bits of other colors in there too. And so that helped me notice that I want a little bit of darkness in that seed and maybe even a tiny bit of that red that I was dropping in. See how that's making it stand out now. And I'm noticing more about that area too. Okay, that's helpful. As I begin to color in the background here, I'm speeding up the video, so I'm not really moving my pencil that quickly. I am paying attention to not going into my object. Sometimes I put a thumb or a piece of paper there, and sometimes I just turn my paper around, still paying attention to the direction of my pencil. But if it's going to be easier to not go into my objects, I might spin my paper and have it be upside down, and then those lines are still going in the same direction. There I am using my thumb again to keep the color out. I am using both that red and that pink there, keeping my colored pencils nice and even. You can do this. If it's taking a while, which it does take a while to do this well, you can even pause the video until you're ready for the next part. But remember that good art takes focus, it takes patience, and it takes looking again for what it needs. And it also takes creativity, which a lot of times comes out when something doesn't happen that you expect. Creativity is most shown when something unexpected happens and then you come up with a solution that makes your art even better. Know that that is a part of making art. Okay, I have a lot of color added for the table, but my objects don't really look like it's sitting on it yet. Do you know what we need to add? See all of those dark areas there? Look how dark it is right at the base where the objects touch. And then look at the larger shapes of the shadows. Find that on yours. It'll depend on what sort of light you have where you're drawing this, how much it shows up, but it will be there. And so now I'm going to use some dark colors to fill in those shadows. I am going to do an outline underneath my object where that shadow is. I'm not going to do an outline over here though, because I want that to be softer on the edges. And see how that egg now, it's popping out. It is definitely now looking more like it is sitting on the table. And that's that purple. So it's darkening in that reddish pink cloth and really working. And I had that blue I wanted to try in there too, because I know it's a great dark blue. And you can see how some parts are a lot darker. That's why we use our colored pencils, both hard and soft. If you have an object in your still life that happens to be mostly white, look at it carefully, because it's not going to be just the white of the paper. It will have places on it where it is darker and where it is lighter, and where it might even be picking up some of the colors from its surroundings. Use this as an opportunity to look closely for little changes in dark, light, and color. So I made a line at the bottom of the object where it's touching the ground, so that part is the darkest. Stay with the same direction that you did for your background and blend your shadow color on top of it, whatever shadow color you decided on. And then see, where is it really hard coloring, where is it really dark, and where is it softer. Maybe it just sort of fades out. Ooh, that's starting to come together. Now, I just need to get my big lemon to look like it's sitting on the table instead of floating in the air. Let's ground that lemon to the table. I'm starting with that outline where it's darkest, and then I am paying attention to the direction of my colored pencil and to where I should use it hard and where I should use it soft. I'm adding a little bit of another color to that shadow too. You see what yours needs. That is just about there. I like it. Let's try that thing we did before, where we find a spot on here, we find a spot on here. Pick anywhere on your still life and put your finger right there. Now find that same spot on your drawing. What do you notice? Is there anything that you could add there? Anything that's different? I noticed a green spot on my lemon. I put my finger right next to that green spot. I didn't put a green spot in there. I'm going to add a little bit of green right there. Just a little bit, blending in with everything else. Try that again. Pick a totally new spot on your artwork. It can be completely random. Oops, don't move your object. And then look there. What do you see? I see that I had just added some of that purple in there, but I feel like a little bit of lemon yellow should be in there too. Just a tiny bit. Yeah. And maybe a little bit more up here. And now I'm noticing that I want this part of the lemon to be brighter with more yellow and more of that ochre up there. And that is making that stand out more. And then maybe a little bit more in here too. Okay, I'm going to call it done now. I hope you did some matching to add some little details to yours. You know what, artists? I bet your still life that expresses the ingredients in the dish that is a tradition in your family is so amazing that I think we should display it in a way that makes it look its best. So for this, you're going to need a couple more supplies. One, I gave you some construction paper at the beginning of the year in your art packet. You probably used a black paper last week. Find a color that looks good with your artwork. And you're also going to need some glue. Either white glue or glue stick is fine, either one. Okay. So, if your artwork is vertical, then you're going to frame it on here vertical. If it's horizontal, then go that way. Either way is fine. What we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of glue on the back of our paper. Oh, that's right. That's where I made those notes. Oh well, I will make sure that I remember in the future outline, direction, hard or soft, and blend, and I am going to glue it down. So, what's our rule for white glue? Dot. Dot, not a lot, right? So, let's see the size of that dot. Ooh, that's pretty good. But you know what? That could really be 2 dots. There we go. That little bit there was 2 dots, and you probably only need 8 dots total if you're using that. If you're using glue stick, then we want to get that glue just about everywhere. Go around the edges and make it be in the middle. I'm doing an X and then some other lines there, and no big chunks, but there we go. And now a very important part. We are going to put our paper that we're gluing on down on our table, and we are going to take this artwork and we are going to hover. We're not just going to slap it down. You're going to hang it right above, and you're going to go, okay, I am looking. Is it the same on the top and the bottom? Is it the same on the sides and the sides? Double checking. Is it all straight? I hover, hover, check, 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 check. Put it down and I check it again. Is it the same here and here? I think it needs to go over a little bit. Is it the same here and here? I think it needs to go up a little bit. I think we're good now. I press it down. If you were careful with your amount of glue, nothing should be squeezing out and you should be great. Wow, look at that. Amazing. Now, you are going to come up with a title for your artwork and write it here and then your name down here. So, let's see. My title is going to be Making a Lemon Meringue Pie. I'm going to write it on here first. Scrap piece of paper. M-A-K-I-N-G-A lemon meringue pie. Wait a second. I didn't spell meringue right. So, good thing I checked. That's not how you spell meringue. It's a tricky one. M-E-R-I-N-G-U-E. Oh, pie. Now I have that. I know what to write there. And I know I can fit it in that space. When you are doing Your best handwriting is just like when you're drawing. Pay attention, take your time, check how large you're drawing and where you're putting it. So, I'm going to start right here. MAKALENGUEPIE. Whew! Great. And then down here, by Miss Maggie. Now I have my title and my name, and my artwork is ready to be put up. Wonderful. Thank you for that. I can't wait to see what your artwork looks like when it is all framed up. Here are your reflection questions today. I've got 2 of them today because first, I'd love to know what sort of techniques that you tried today with the colored pencils are you going to use in the future? And second, I want to know about the dish that you were thinking of as you drew your still life. What does your family make out of these ingredients? What special occasion or holiday do they make it for? I'd love to know. Okay, remember to clean up all your colored pencils, put the food items back in the fridge or wherever they go. Make sure you take a photo of your artwork and share it online on Padlet so that I can enjoy your artwork too. And also share that picture with your teachers and hang your artwork up in your home so that you have your personal art exhibit and you can make your family happy with this expression of one of your family traditions.